Have you ever wondered what it would be like to enter a dream that you can call home to? I'm sure you have. Just lying in wait for you to rest your weary eyes and allow yourself to take the journey you are wishing for. Please, take heed, for this adventure has a hand to guide you to true peace. For only a six-eyed lens can guide your way. Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new world, and this is something that I wanted to explore for the longest time. I just haven't had the motivation and drive until now, especially since last video, that I wanted to explore this world, and I recently did it, or like last year I should say, my apologies, that I explored this world, and there have been some updates. But otherwise, this is the first full time I'm going to explore this again with you, my fellow night dwellers. And more importantly, I think this is going to be somewhat of an invigorating experience. We're already in Serenity with the soundtrack to grace us, but more importantly, it's something that can harmonize the soul almost, and that's what I'm getting from this already. But there are also paddle boards that we can collect. Maybe we'll be lucky, who knows, depending on if, the circumstances lead to that. But regardless, I hope you are able to enjoy this as much as I, and more importantly, sit back, relax, and grab a snack as we take a deep dive into today's world. Liminal Dreams, the Poolrooms. Well, without wasting any more time, let's cut off the camera and just explore. Also, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this video. We're going to explore, and hopefully I don't yap too much, but you know me. But it will also be somewhat of a different experience. I want to actually write down my thoughts and then explain them at the end of the video of how a world like this actually makes me feel. Of course, there's only so much details I can give without putting my thoughts to, pen and paper. But this is something I'm going to try out. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you won't see it again. But anyways, enough chitter-chatter. So here we are. We get graced with this amazing, immaculate scenery, and already the light shining through, basking on the water, it's so comforting. It is serenity almost, that it almost is inviting you in to take a dive and just allow your skin to feel the water almost float in it like you're at home. Well, I did recently get new threads, but I gotta stress test them, so let's take a dive into the water. Ooh. Now this is something. Feel the ripples of the water almost. And you can take a deeper look down below, and it makes me float, which is interesting. But it also gives a film graininess to it, which I guess that's their water blur effect. But you know, I still feel like it's so inviting. I want to stay in that water for longer, but we got a whole map to explore. So let us continue. And now we are traversing through a large tunnel expanse, and we have a diverging pathway, but I want to see what's at the end of this because there could be something more. Who knows? Maybe it's one of those paddle boards or another pathway. We'll take this one. And we have what seems like a, actual swimming pool. People can come in here, practice their strokes, you name it, and see how fast they can competitively swim. There's a diving board, several, and you can just relax with a bunch of people in a public pool. And, it feels avant-garde. Like, this expanse here, the one I'm pointing at to you, it feels cathedral-like, and that isn't normal, at least to me. I have no idea. I would need to find, like, actual, big swimming pools or just big public pool, like, parks, you name it, to describe this feeling, but it feels very 2000s with just how expansive everything feels like. And, what they recently did add to this map, by the way, is those tubes, and you can explore the tubes. But for now, though, we're not going to do that yet. But I think we found our first paddleboard. That is something. Yep, here it is. This one's golden. So, heart of gold. Y'all are golden. It's a great time. And I want to see what this water has in store for me, because it's very dark, and I don't know. It feels like I'm going to be dragged down into the abyss, and, the underworld is only as comforting as torture can be. But I don't know. It's like calling to me almost. I can't see anything, but blurriness. I'm in a different plane, a different dimension, and it just feels like I'm not supposed to be here. But at the same time, they're allowing me to explore. Now we have giant parasols. It doesn't feel like I'm a normal person in this space, and I know avatar scaling is hard to do in VRChat, but at the same time too, these are made for giants. So, like, I feel so small in comparison. You don't see giant parasols like that, or umbrellas. That would probably be the better term or proper term. But yeah, no. This all feels very strange. You can see the water up there too. We are in some weird part of this space that is devoid of the circulation of time. Everything feels still, and the water doesn't come down even though it should. Everything's frozen almost from what it seems like. But let us continue. And we got saunas. from what it feels like, or resting areas with lockers, and we found our second paddleboard. This one's very blue. And you know, here's the strange thing. I recently finished Control, and Control is an amazing game. The best 8 out of 10 experience I can give. It certainly does drag on in certain elements that I feel like should not be accentuated when it comes to, you know, Remedy games. But it is still an enjoyable time with mesmerizing soundscapes, and more importantly, world building. The worlds are so interesting to take a deep dive into. But this almost feels like I'm part of that world in Control, where this is an object of power, but also we're in an altered world effect, or an AWE. That's what they described it. I'll put the exact definition on screen. But you got this large stalactite form and all these rocky formations building up. We're in almost like a giant pool, a hot tub kind of deal, but yeah, you got these sauna heating machines with the rocks, and I don't know, I feel all warm and fuzzy. It feels so good to just be in, and I can feel my skin just tingling with the sensation that I am able to experience this and almost sort of feel it coursing through my body. And you know, it is so invigorating that I can just feel so relaxed even though I'm in a virtual space. But let us take another dive and see how this goes, because surely there is more to explore within this expanse, shall we? And here we have some light. And I don't know. I thought heaven was supposed to be upwards, not downwards. But alas, we are somewhere where time does not follow the natural course of formation. And yeah, no, this is just a giant light pad. So let us get up. I like to pretend I'm swimming. But yeah, no, this is impressive. Credits to who made this world, by the way. I want to know there as my body floats away. Lotus. All credits to Lotus who made this, because this is so impressive. And you know, I can only imagine how much time this took, especially just to compress it and make it 76 megabytes. That is a Herculean achievement if I've ever seen one, especially with how much you can explore. But now we got a dark tunnel, and we are going to see if we enter a different altered world event, and you know, if it's affected, especially in this world, by an object of power, just how much everything is coursing through into our own minds and how much of an effect it has. I know I keep bringing it up, but at the same time too. Control, please play it. Especially if you like SCP, you know, styles of storytelling, but also gameplay elements and objects and storytelling and describing, you know, objects as a whole that you would have to, you know, experience that for yourself. And now this is impressive. I cannot even begin to like hold my voice in, because I know that it would ring out and I can hear all of what this cavern, this immense pressure that's upon me, would feel like as the echoing booms keep vibrating off of me from my own power of voice. And you know, what the most impressive thing is that there's still so much more. You can see the water, and it keeps calling to me. The water is what is constantly bringing us to different planes, different worlds. And it almost is trying to guide us in a way. And then here, we have something basked in a fog. I don't know what it could be, but we shall find out together. No, never mind. He just brought us back. Oh, Lord. But now we continue to see what else is in store for us. I hope you're enjoying this. I know I am. And I may have to cut it off short, but there is so much to explore. And I may do a part 2 to this video, because I just cannot find myself, you know, wanting to put down, stop for any moment in time that my thoughts continue to race of just how it feels so amazing to me that we are able to experience this and feel with it too. The resonation is, oh, I got shivers. There's a chill running down my spine, but it's a good feeling. And that is what captures liminality for me. And this is how you do liminal spaces. And I think that is an impressive tone that most people should try to achieve when it comes to exploring liminal spaces. But we do see another paddleboard. It's very bright green. I don't know how I missed that before. Maybe I walked past it, but... Boop. There we go. And now, let us start back from the beginning, and I'll cut back to see you guys again. Alright, and with that, unfortunately, that is the end of the first part for this video. Don't worry, I will continue this, but for now though, I need my rest, I need my energy, but more importantly as well, I would like to share with you my final thoughts on what this actually makes me feel like. because this is so important to me, but more in depth as a whole. And you get to understand just how everything clicked into my head. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy my thoughts. From the moment I first loaded into the world, I felt invited and welcome into the home of a longtime friend that I haven't seen in quite a while. The warming light shining in through the windows allows the soul to bask in it. Just like the light bouncing off the water, it did want me to stay in it for a long time. But it couldn't last forevermore, that comfort. But pressing on, we continued through a dark tunnel for it converged to two pathways. One dark and one lit for me to publicly greet me with open arms. It was empty. No one was there. Only me, myself, and I. Alas, continuing for the journey ahead, we dived into the dark waters and crossed into a land devoid of time. Everything felt frozen. Everything felt still. The air was still, but the water above was moving as it was devoid of all logic from where I was at. It felt weird, like I was a small fragment in a large stone that was meant to keep it moving, but with no foot to kick the stone. The large boulder was left still on an edge of the mountaintop. Moving on from the stillness of time, we then entered a large sauna pool room. This was the most invigorating feeling to the point of being sublime. My skin tingling with the sensation of a warm air penetrating my skin, allowing it to breathe the longest breath it has ever done before. As soon as the nirvana died down, I was truly at home with this place. We then continued to find a deep blue cavern. But before that, we had to converge through the dark corridors that were leading us there. It seemed like the water passing through my own legs was guiding me to the final and first rest stop of our journey. This blue cave, as deep as the ocean, this was the final part of my expedition. Here, I can rest and take in the clarity of all my emotions. This was peace at its core. I was home, and I had finally found myself here. And this is all she wrote in this book of tales. True serenity at last.